Qoheleth, Ecclesiastes, chapters 5 through 8. Qoheleth, Ecclesiastes, chapter 5. Guard your steps when you go to the house of Elohim, and draw near to listen, rather than to give the slaughtering of fools, for they do not know that they do evil. Do not be hasty with your mouth, and let not your heart hurry to bring forth a word before Elohim. For Elohim is in the Shemaim, and you on earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through the greatness of the task, and a fool's voice is known by his many words. When you make a vow to Elohim, do not delay to pay it, for he takes no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you have vowed. It is better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Do not allow your mouth to cause your flesh to sin, nor say before the messenger of Elohim that it was a mistake. Why should Elohim be wroth at your voice and destroy the work of your hands? For in much dreaming and many words there is futility, but revere Elohim. If you see the oppression of the poor and denial of right ruling and righteousness in a province, do not be astonished at the matter. For a higher than the high is guarding, and there are higher ones over them. And the increase of the land is for all. The sovereign himself is served from the field. He who loves silver is not satisfied with silver, nor he who loves wealthy increase. That too is futile. With the increase of goods, there is an increase of those consuming them. What advantage then is there to their owners but to look on? Sweet is the sleep of a laborer, whether he eats little or much, but the plenty of the rich does not let him sleep. There is a sickly evil I have seen under the sun, riches kept for their owner for his evil. But those riches perish through evil use, and he brings forth a son, and there is naught in his hand. As he came naked from his mother's womb, so he returns to go as he came. And from his labor which goes into his hand he takes none whatsoever. And this too is a grievous evil. Exactly as he came, so he goes. And what gain has he since he toiled for the wind? All his days he also eats in darkness, and with much sorrow and sickness and wrath. See what I have seen. It is good and pleasant for one to eat and drink and to enjoy the good of all his labor in which he toils under the sun all the days of his life which Elohim gives him, for it is his portion. Further, when Elohim has given any man riches and wealth and permitted him to enjoy them and to receive his portion and rejoice in his labor, this is a gift of Elohim. Though it not be much, let him remember the days of his life, because Elohim bears witness by the gladness of his heart. Qoheleth, Ecclesiastes, chapter 6. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is great among men. A man to whom Elohim has given riches and wealth and esteem, so that his being lacks none at all of what he desires. But Elohim does not permit him to eat of it, and a foreigner consumes it. This is futile, and it is an evil disease. If a man brings forth 100 and lives many years, so that the days of his years are many, but his being is not satisfied with goodness, or indeed he has no burial, I say that a premature birth is better than he, for it comes in futility and goes away in darkness, and in darkness its name is covered. Even the sun it has not seen, it has more rest than that man. And though he lives 1,000 years twice over, yet he shall not see goodness. Do not all go to one place? All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not satisfied. For what advantage has the wise over the fool? What does the poor have who knows how to walk before the living? What the eye see is better than what the desire goes after. That too is futile and feeding on wind. Whatever shall be has already been named, and it is known that he is Son of Man, and he is unable to contend with him who is mightier than he. The more words, the more futility. What is the advantage to man? For who knows what is good for man in life all the days of his futile life, which he passes like a shadow? For who declares to man what shall be after him under the sun? Qoheleth, Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. A name is better than precious oil, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living take it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the face the heart becomes better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of rejoicing. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for man to hear the song of fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of a fool. That too is futile. For oppression makes a wise one mad, and a bribe destroys the heart. The end of a matter is better than its beginning. The patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Do not be hasty in your spirit to be provoked, for wrath rests in the bosom of fools. Do not say, "Why were the former days better than these?" For it is not wise of you to have asked about this. Wisdom is good with an inheritance and an advantage to those who see the sun. For wisdom protects as silver protects, but the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom gives chai to those who have it. See the work of Elohim, for who is able to make straight what he has made crooked? Be glad in the day of prosperity, but in the evil day take note that Elohim has also appointed the one as well as the other, so that man should not uncover what is after him. I have seen it all in my days of futility. There is a righteous one perishing in his righteousness, and there is a wicked one living long in his evil. Do not be over-righteous, neither be over-wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be increasingly wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of this, and also not withhold your hand from the other, for he who reveres Elohim comes forth with all of them. Wisdom makes the wise strong, more than 10 rulers that are in the city. For there is not a righteous man on earth who does good and does not sin. Also, do not take to heart all the words they speak, lest you hear your servant cursing you. For you know in your heart that many times you have cursed others. All this I have proved by wisdom. I said, I am wise, but it was far from me. That which is far off and exceedingly deep. Who can find it? I have turned round even my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and a conclusion, to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I found more bitter than death, the woman whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are shackles. He who pleases Elohim escapes from her, but the sinner is captured by her. See, this I have found, says Qoheleth, one by one to find a conclusion, which my being still seeks, but I have not found. I have found one man among 1,000, but a woman among all these I have not found. Truly, this only I have found, that Elohim made man straight, but they have sought out many devices. Qoheleth, Ecclesiastes, chapter 8. Who is like a wise one, and who knows the meaning of a matter? A man's wisdom makes his face shine, and the hardness of his face is changed. I guard the sovereign's command because of the oath before Elohim. Do not be in a hurry to go from his presence. Do not take a stand in an evil matter, for he does whatever he pleases. Where the word of a sovereign is, there is power. And who says to him, "What are you doing?" He who guards the command knows no evil matter, and the heart of the wise discerns both time and right ruling, because for every matter there is a time and right ruling, though the trouble of man is heavy upon him. For he does not know what shall be, so who declares to him when it shall be? No one has power over the spirit to retain the spirit, and no one has power in the day of death. There is no discharge in battle, and wickedness does not release those who are given to it. All this I have seen. I applied my heart to every work that is done under the sun. There is a time in which a man rules over a man for his evil. And so I saw the wicked buried, and they came and went from the place of Kodeshah, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. That too is futile. Because the sentence against an evil deed is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is filled in them to do evil. Although a sinner is doing evil 100 times and is prolonged, yet I know that there is good to those who revere Elohim, who reverence before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, nor would he prolong his days as a shadow, because he does not reverence before Elohim. There is a futility which has been done on earth, that there are righteous ones who get according to the deeds of the wicked, and there are wicked ones who get according to the deeds of the righteous. I said that this too is futile. Therefore I praised enjoyment, because there is no good to man except to eat and to drink and to rejoice, and it remains with him in his labor for the days of his life which Elohim has given him under the sun. When I gave my heart to know wisdom and to see the task which has been done on earth, even though one sees no sleep day or night, then I saw all the work of Elohim, that man is unable to find out the work that has been done under the sun. For though a man labors to seek, yet he does not find it. And even though a wise one claims to know, he is unable to find it.